around the world, you'll find the sport of auto racing to mean a great deal to a great number of people. But there are certain corners in the map where it means everything. Bowman Gray Stadium is one of those places. And for more than 70 years in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, racing here has been a way of life. Built as a football stadium in the Great Depression, a racetrack was added after World War II, and it became something magical.
Madhouse, get that program!
Hi there.
Right, 3 adults, 6 kids.
You said 6 kids?
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be a long night for you guys.
Yeah.
Here we go. Racing a quarter mile around a football field, there's just nowhere to hide. And that means beating, banging, hurt feelings, blood rivalries. And not just on the track. Here, it's simple, pure, raw.
Are you not entertained?
I just want to tell you, when I left my house today, I left bail money just in case I smacked the out of you today.
As much as anywhere, NASCAR became NASCAR at Bowman Gray. Petty, Pearson, Allison, Wood, they all raced here. And even after the Cup Series left Bowman Gray in 1971, the community only grew. Generations of people behind the wheel and in the stands that haven't missed a lap in decades. If Sunday is for church, Saturday is for Bowman Gray.
Race fans, at this time, we have a special guest, the Executive Vice President for NASCAR, Ben Kennedy.
So on behalf of NASCAR and our millions of fans around the world, for the first time in 54 years, the NASCAR Cup Series is coming back to Winston-Salem, North Carolina at Bowman Gray Stadium.
LA is out, Bowman Gray is in.
Yeah, let's go to Bowman Gray. That was so perfect.
I think it's a nod to the history and roots of the sport.
The announcement that NASCAR would return to Bowman Gray Stadium with the Clash to kick off the 2025 season generated massive enthusiasm. After 3 years in Los Angeles, there would be a return to NASCAR's roots.
The fan energy and atmosphere there is amazing and crazy.
I've seen a lot of highlight reels from over there.
There's no other experience like Bowman Gray. It's such a cool atmosphere, so I'm excited for it.
I don't know if our show will be crazy enough for them. They may not like us. I could be wrong.
To understand what Bowman Gray Stadium really is, and what it can be in a new era, you have to understand how it came to be known as simply the Madhouse. On your average Saturday night at Bowman Gray, you'll see a handful of different kinds of cars. But the track's premier class is the modified division. Open-wheeled, lightweight, and bad fast. The modifieds have been the main event at Bowman Gray since 1949. The stadium puts on a hell of a show, and the fans can't get enough.
One of my sayings is we are racing, wrestling, and religion. We're racing, we're in a circle. We're wrestling because we have a few discussions. We're religion because people come sit in the same seat every week, and they follow who they're passionate about.
This is a place you come. You don't come here to watch cars go around in a circle. You come here for excitement and drama, and 99% of the time, that's exactly what you get.
Oh boy! Oh, we have a fight! We have a fight! Oh my gosh! Folks, they're angry! They're punching! WWE! Oh my gosh! Haymakers!
There you go, give it the tap. Come on, come on, come on, clear out back, let's go.
You walk in here on a Saturday night at race time, and you feel it before you sit down. It's energy, it's the whole place. It thrives off of itself, and it builds itself up. People fight their way into this place. You know, everybody fights your way out of somewhere, but when people are fighting to get in, that's when you know you got a show.
This is chaos here at Bowman Gray Stadium. He's drilled them!
17,000 fans showing that it's bird season.
Nobody comes here and they're for everybody. You've got one or two that you're a fan of, and the rest of them, you don't like them too much at all.
Uh-oh, this could be big right here.
My first year ever racing here, there is a man and a woman with what looked like a 1-year-old in her arms. As I come by, she's got the kid's hand like this.
As you can make a pass on the racetrack, especially if you make a pass for the lead, fans can cheer loud enough that we can hear them in the car over the motor turning 8,000 RPMs.
You know, they're vocal with gestures and whatever they want to do. But, you know, what would you rather have? Somebody that's passionate or somebody that just watches? I'll take the passion every time.
All right, here we go.
And you know where you're going?
Yeah.
It's really hard to describe what Bowman Gray feels like because there's, 14 or 15,000 people there every single Saturday night. The fans, they're, especially in the front, they're hanging like over the wall, either giving you a thumbs up or telling you you're number one. It's one of the two.
There's a hand gesture.
There's hand gestures either way.
The idea to bring the Clash to Bowman Gray started with Ben Kennedy, the great-grandson of NASCAR founder Bill France Sr. Kennedy and the man he's tapped to make the race a reality, Joey Denowitz, are on their way to get the full Madhouse experience. Before hitting the stadium, it's tradition for fans and drivers alike to stop off for hot dogs at Pulliam's Barbecue, a Winston-Salem mainstay older than Bowman Gray itself. Kennedy's grandfather, Bill France Jr., was a frequent visitor.
Bill France Jr. would always stop at Pulliam's, whether it's a Bowman Gray weekend or not. I've heard stories about him landing at this airport before, and he would land here, run over to Pulliam's, get a hot dog, and then scoot to the next place.
One hot dog with slaw.
I really want that.
Hey, I brought somebody with me.
How are you doing?
All right, and you doing okay?
Good, doing well.
Good.
Ready for some hot dogs?
Hey, we got you covered here, brother. You come to the right place.
Awesome. I think I gotta go all the way, right? What is all the way?
Mustard, chili, slaw, and onion.
Let's do it.
Can you tell us a little bit about the Bill France room?
Yeah, that Bill France room was years ago. Bill had called me and said, you got room? I said, I'll make room. I said, clear the tables and all. So I got Mike Helton and a bunch of them coming up. So I put them all in that room.
Yeah. You had basically the entire NASCAR garage in your back room?
Yeah.
Where's that picture of Ben Kennedy at?
It should be in here.
You ever see that guy?
Who, Ben?
Yeah.
I haven't seen Ben since he ran K&N.
That's me.
Are you Ben?
I'm Ben.
Man, I hadn't seen you. Man, boy, that's a dang. I haven't seen you since you ran K&N. How's your mom and everybody doing?
They're doing great. They're doing really good.
Yeah, there's that picture of you and your mom and you.
Oh, yeah. Now, Junior, he would fly into the airport here.
Yep, and they bring him up here to eat. Sometimes he'd come up here for a meeting with rental. Sometimes he just flew in. I can remember Bill Jr., Bill Sr., sitting over there in that corner where them drink machines is at, with T. Wayne and Ralph Seagraves.
Okay.
And they said there's no telling what kind of rules was made for NASCAR in that corner.
In that corner.
While they was up here eating.
Bowman Gray hasn't changed much over the years. That's part of its charm. The challenge for Kennedy and Denowitz is figuring out how to keep the venue's down-home feel, but also get it ready for big-time auto racing when the Cup Series comes to town for the Clash.
Where's the broadcast compound?
Broadcast compound will be right behind, basically behind turn 1.
So cup haulers here, down there.
Cup haulers all this way. I think we can hit 40 of them, which would leave all of this for inspection, NASCAR trailers, and equipment, other operating equipment.
You guys doing well?
Yeah. Went to Richmond truck race last week. Thought we'd come over here and play around a little bit tonight.
Good. Awesome, man.
Probably haven't been here since you won a race here, have you?
A while ago, in my past life.
That past life Ben Kennedy's talking about is one that put him in the middle of the madness.
Here comes Ben Kennedy. He's going to try for the bottom.
Great battle side by side, a little bit of contact, then more contact. Looked like Godova got in the back of Ben Kennedy, and around goes Ortiz.
In a 2013 K&N Pro Series East race, Kennedy wrote his name into the legend of Bowman Gray.
Ben Kennedy will win at historic Bowman Gray Stadium.
Wow, this has got to be such a huge moment for Ben Kennedy.
I still have the door panel of that car. It's ripped up, it's beat up, but I will forever remember that night. You know, to be able to really see the Madhouse on full display.
In this picture, we have seen a few of the 120,000 projects that are embraced by the Works program. Another type of permanent construction is this community stadium, representative of a large group of projects that provide facilities for public gatherings all over America.
Rising from the Great Depression and named for a tobacco executive, Bowman Gray Stadium in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, was built in 1937 as a venue for football, boxing, and other events. Soon, someone figured out you could drive race cars around the place too, which attracted aspiring promoters Bill France Sr. and Alvin Hawkins.
Big Bill France and Alvin Hawkins were at the formation of NASCAR in December of 1947. The picture shows Alvin there. He's right there at Big Bill's side because they had been racers together back in the 30s on the beach at Daytona. So here's Bowman Gray Stadium sitting up here, and it's been paved. Another race promoter had talked the city after the war into paving the racetrack to asphalt. And this guy ran a few races and finally skipped town and didn't fulfill his end of the bargain to help the city pay for the paving. So the city of Winston-Salem officials met Bill and Alvin up here, and they looked at it. And Bill had some reservations, as I understand. He kind of looked at it and said, "It looks awfully tight." And Alvin was excited by it and said, "Hey, I believe this will work."
That is Alvin Hawkins' grandfather. I was kind of young when he got involved with this. I did spend some time with him, though, kind of as a sidekick, riding around in the truck, I guess, a little bit. I think him and Mr. France tried to figure out a way to get the adrenaline junkies that came back from the war and corral that, and they were good at it.
NASCAR held its first race at the stadium in 1949. Fonty Flock was the winner. Week after week, the fans packed in to see the drivers put on a show. France and Hawkins had hit on something big. Long before they followed their father's footsteps to lead NASCAR, Jim France and his brother Bill Jr. roamed the pits as kids, learning to love racing, among other lessons.
I grew up being up there every summer. It was fun as a little kid, being at a racetrack with a lot of people and noise and excitement going on. And that's where I learned my first cuss words. So that place just had a special meaning. Ben's grandmother, Betty Jane, was a Miss Bowman Gray Stadium. That relationship blossomed out of Bowman Gray Stadium.
My mother and a lot of her sisters, would babysit Jim France. So the families just kind of became intertwined with each other because they had kids basically the same age, they had the same passion, and, working around the clock all the time to keep things going. As racing was progressing forward, if you wanted to be somebody in racing, you had to beat the people that were in racing, and this is where they were, so you had to be here. I remember seeing Richard Petty race here and Curtis Turner, Bobby Allison.
As a matter of fact, Bobby Allison won the last Cup race at Bowman Gray in 1971. He got the money, he got the trophy, but he never was acknowledged as the winner of the race due to a technicality.
You look at the NASCAR Hall of Fame, and everybody that's in that NASCAR Hall of Fame has had some part of Bowman Gray Stadium.
Herb Thomas ran the first race here. Fireball Roberts, Joe Weatherly, Lee Petty won 3 races here.
Richard Childress sold peanuts in these stands right here where we're sitting.
I watched David Pearson win here. Hall of Famer Glenn Wood, all of his wins came here at Bowman Gray Stadium.
If we had a championship race, it'd have 20,000 people here. We won a lot of them championship races. Glenn was the best right here.
Glenn Wood cemented his legacy at Bowman Gray with 29 career wins. That dominance was due in part to the ingenuity of his brother, Leonard, who carefully studied the quarter-mile flat track. The result was one of the most famous cars in NASCAR history.
You need more weight on the rear wheels, you know, so Glenn and I started working on this 37 Ford, and we started moving the motor back, and we moved it back a certain part, and then to miss something else, you had to move it back a little more, so we ended up moving it back about 30 inches or so, and then he had to go in the back seat, and then we had to have a long steering rod to go to the front. He says, how in the world am I gonna drive this thing? I learned how to set the car up, he learned how to drive a car, and he got the thing right. He wins 4 in a row. He says, man, it's easy to win a race in this thing. I learned more about how to set a car, to wedge a car and all that than any other racetrack.
The world has changed since the Cup Series was last here, but the crowd at Bowman Gray is still the same, big and spirited. And on most Saturday nights, that spirit bleeds onto the track, where chaos ensues.
Right rearing him into the turn one fence, and Zach Staley, massive crash.
Staley is stuck over in turn 2 and waving to the fans.
Zach Staley's now running across the infield grass. Chaos here at Bowman Gray Stadium.
No one has a better view of that chaos than Gray Garrison. He's Alvin Hawkins' grandson and has inherited the job of policing all the mayhem at the Madhouse. This week, Job 1 is squashing the beef between street stock drivers Zach Staley and Christian Joyce.
We're gonna talk about it, okay? You've been saying do something about it. Talk to me about it.
I gotta be there.
Because I want to get this done. I want to be done with it. We have discussions. We do. We have a lot of them. We have a lot of personalities over here. Thank y'all for coming. We just kind of need to sit down and figure out what's going on here, what's going to take to put this thing to rest. I mean, I know there's a...
I tried to do that 2 weeks ago and today.
Well, we're here now. So...
That's what I'm here.
You want to speak first?
Now, dude, I tried to show you didn't have no brakes. I tried to talk to you like a man, tried to walk you over there with 9 cops and show you that I didn't have no brakes. Here we are. I'm over it. I've heard for weeks you trying to do something like that. If I want the stuff you don't want, buddy, I'd stuff you out in the parking lot. I'll put your in front of your truck if I wanted to. Sounds like something. I ain't no.
Can y'all shake hands and go racing tonight?
Done you right, dude. I've been good.
Can y'all shake hands and go racing?
You have been in the past. I've been good to your ass.
You have been in the past.
I've been good to you and your daddy.
I know. Good luck, both of you. All right, let's get to Nixon's in.
Gray is one of the reasons that this place is so successful.
It's gonna be hot, better hydrate.
Because he talks to the drivers, he listens to the drivers. Gray's very hands-on.
You're causing more problems now than you was when you was racing, you dumbass.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, we're just trying to have some fun.
I know it.
Be safe. I mean, it ain't worth all this.
I think Gray does the best he can trying to keep all the 200 or 300 racers here at bay, and you're not gonna make everybody happy.
You think I'm a If you have to ask the question, you know the answer.
That is correct, Mr. Garrison.
Every decision Gray Garrison makes, he makes it for the best interest of Bowman Gray Stadium. He's kept this place going for a long time.
It became a way of life, just like if you grow up on a farm, you start farming. You grow up at a racetrack, you race. It's just what you do. It's what you know.
Bert Myers can't remember a time before his Saturdays were built around Bowman Gray. His family has been winning at the stadium since the beginning. The third-generation driver and 11-time track champion continues the tradition, and race day begins with a rather tasty ritual.
My first year in a race car was 94. but Mama was going to the stadium when she was pregnant with me, so I've been going over there my whole life. That's the thing about Bowman Gray. It's a perfect mixture of marketing and entertainment and racing and everything that just keeps people, it keeps them coming back. I guess it's kept me, I must be crazy, it keeps me coming back.
Bert's grandfather Billy and great-uncle Bobby were the first Myers to dominate Bowman Gray. His father Gary was a champion too. Bert and his brother Jason stayed in the family business. And now there's a fourth generation, Bert's son, Slade.
What's it need?
It's not bad, right?
Is it good? Oh yeah. See how they bust open? Look at that. My uncle would bring hot dogs wrapped up in aluminum foil, and we just have a little snack. Well, he quit coming to the racetrack, so I started doing it. Now I do it every week. And then, like Willy Wonka, I put a golden ticket in one of the hot dogs, and if you found the golden ticket, you got a prize, like a candy bar or Starburst or something. So there's at least one prize in every bag. All right, so the first one always gets the note. But yeah, this is what we do. I mean, you know, for us, it's not a hobby, it's a lifestyle, you know, and it's just all we've ever known. Once you get bit by it, there ain't no going back, so. We love it.
My whole life has revolved around racing at Bowman Gray Stadium. Every Saturday, I know this sounds crazy, but I think literally my entire life I've missed 3 Saturday nights, my entire life. I mean, our family goes back to the very first race that ever took place here.
You know, my dad was one of the early pioneers, my dad and my uncle Billy, and this was a place that they were at every Saturday night. I remember coming here as a child, watching my dad race. NASCAR was new, it was exciting, and they were the guys that were winning the races. They were the thing.
First year we went up there and rented a house 2 doors down. It was Billy Myers. The car caught my attention. It would be parked there all week behind the house, and I'd go over and play in it, and then Billy would get in and drive it over the weekend. So he was my hero.
Bill was a little smoother than Bobby. Bobby's a little more aggressive, you know, but we always liked the Myers brothers. I mean, there was nobody better than him.
Billy would win the championship one year, and Bobby won it the next, and then Billy would win it the following year, 51, 52, and 53. It really was a Myers-dominated era.
The Myers name is still here at Bowman Gray Stadium. It means everything to me.
The generational passion for Bowman Gray isn't limited to the drivers. Daniel Shelton and his son Grayson are just one example of how that same bond is found in those Madhouse grandstands.
Christian, I like how you always put your name to it.
Yeah.
Right, flip the page. My son collects what they call a win card, and it's kind of like a postcard for each driver. They get one if they win. To this day, my son has every one of those win cards. Who is that?
Chase, my favorite driver.
And that's something that we look forward to every week. Just, you know, that dad and son time. You name them for me. You know them better than I do. There you go.
Chuck Wall, Randy Butner, Brandon Ward, Chuck Wall, Christian Joyce.
A lot of good memories right there, right?
Yeah.
A lot of good memories. My dad, he passed away when I was 11. Dad, coming here, his passion is kind of like what I've got now. It was a weekly thing. Never missed a race. Even when it would rain, we would still show up. And seeing my son be so passionate and, you know, excited about the whole aspect of Bowman Gray, I feel like that's me carrying on his legacy, so to speak. And that could sound a little corny, but I mean, it's just what it bottoms down to. This was my first ever program that I got. This is where it all started. These are from the front noses off of Burt Myers. The Myers group, that's my go-to right there. I like Jason, Burt, the whole Myers family. This was a cool piece that was just out in the scrap pile, and I'm like, why is that out there in the scrap pile? Yeah, passionate is the word for it. Fanatic would be another one, crazy. I'd always told Bert that I wanted a side from his car. It was awesome. He called me up, he's like, I got you a Christmas gift. I felt honored that he would do that.
That's one of the cool things for our family is just how long we've been going over to Bowman Gray. And they actually took a picture of my grandpa, my grandma, and my dad and his brother in the stands. And they're in the same spot that I sat in and that my family sits in now. And we actually recreated that picture several years ago with my mom and my dad and me and my brother. Billy and Bobby were known as the Myers brothers. And now today, me and my brother are known as the Myers brothers. For us, it's just normal because we grew up there, but I think when you sit back and you look at what actually goes on, it is pretty neat.
This community deserved a cup race. This is the beauty of Americana, is this community gets to show up on Saturday night, watch a hell of a show, and then spend the next 6 days talking about it.
For the Cup Series to come here, we look at it as it's coming back home.
For them to come over here into our house, you know, it's almost like they just realized that the best fishing pond they got's right in their backyard. Right here at Bowman Gray Stadium.
We get out here about 10, 11 o'clock, put our stuff down. Typically, we go back home, you know, take a nap. Yeah. And then we come back out at about 5:30 and stay out here till the race starts at 8 o'clock, and then we're out here till the end. So we're out here till sometimes like 1 o'clock in the morning. So it's like a 13-hour, 14-hour day for us.
If it's your first time at Bowman Gray, be careful about what seat you pick. The ticket may say general admission, but there's a set of unwritten, almost sacred rules about who sits where. Traditions laid down, in some cases, decades ago.
If it could stay like this, Gray, we'd be fine. It's not so hot.
Yeah.
You talk to some fans and it's like, hey, we sit in the same spot that my great-grandpa sat in the 50s or 60s, right? Your family sit here for 60 years watching races here?
Section 5, we're okay. And it's crazy for me to think about it. I was once sitting here this age.
Nobody that sits in this area right here would dare sit where my family sits. Just like we wouldn't sit where another family sits. It's just a mutual respect here in the stands. How many places can you say that about?
Every race day is a ritual. For Daniel and Grayson Shelton, once they've marked their seats, the next stop is the pits to get those win cards signed by Bowman Gray's finest.
What is it, like 9 cards this week?
I think so.
7 from 6 or 7.
Yeah.
We get over here about 3:30ish, so you're looking at 2 hours earlier, and we like to mingle with the drivers. How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good, good.
What's up, man? How are you?
How'd you feel in practice? Good?
Pretty good.
What's up, little man? He's here.
Yeah.
He's here every time.
Ready for the signature?
Yeah.
We've created a lot of friendships, man. The way they've scooped my kid up under their wing. Doing all right? Hey, Mama, how you doing?
Hi, good. There's Bert right there.
You always get the first one, don't you?
Yeah.
He gets his own pack. You know the deal. Good to see you. Good luck. You know, getting those cards and then going around and getting them signed. We love it. Champion right here. Champion. I'm calling it. Champion, right?
We're gonna try.
Seeing my son be so passionate and, you know, all the friends he's made down there, some of them kids, some of them adults. To us, that means a lot.
I always let go of the steering wheel when I know I'm wrecking, or I'll let go and then hit the car that was stopped. But it was pretty violent.
You think it'll be okay tonight?
You racer, you know, you idiot.
yeah, it's gonna hurt tomorrow. Yeah, you'll pay for it all.
Tim Brown grew up living Saturday nights at Bowman Gray. He's the other half of the Madhouse's top rivalry, sparring every weekend with Burt Myers for wins and championships. One night in particular, about a decade ago, is the best example of how wild that feud can get.
We got into turn 3, and I bumped him getting in, and he went out and he spun out. Tim come out of the pits as we took the green and stuffed me in the wall down here, and then we started running into each other. Tim hit his boiling point is what happened.
And that particular night, the wires crossed in my head, and I didn't care what the outcome was. I was tired of being run over by the Myers.
Oh, boy, here we go.
Tim Brown had never done that. So it was like, holy cow, what happened to Tim? That was a pretty crazy night.
The emotions have overflowed again. Enough is enough. Wear it out. Wear it out.
And that night was the night that, like, you done me wrong for the last time. I'm gonna show you that you ain't gonna mess with me.
It's no wonder things between Brown and Myers are so tense. There's barely any daylight between them in the record book. Since 1996, Brown has won 12 track championships. Myers has done it 11 times.
I respect him. He's a really good racer. I don't like a lot of the things that he does as a racer, and that's fine. I'm sure he don't like a lot of things that I do as a racer, but when I beat him, not that I pat myself on the back, but I feel pretty good about it, you know.
In 2024, Brown cemented his place in Bowman Gray history, becoming the first driver to win 100 races at the Madhouse.
Way to do it, Brown. It's 100, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, history tonight at the Madhouse.
Everybody put a bigger emphasis on that 100 than I did, because to me it's just another win. When Cup car owners started calling me and congratulating me, and Cup drivers were calling me, you know, I was thinking, like, man, it must be a pretty big deal. And I think about it a lot, how blessed I've been to just be a kid that struggled to buy the ticket to come here to watch a race. Now to walking in here and being one of the best that's ever done it. I know Bert's, you know, nipping at the heels, and he'll get 100 soon, but I beat him to it. It's special and will always be special because I was the first one to ever do it.
It's been over half a century since Bowman Gray hosted the NASCAR Cup Series. Not a lot has changed here since then, and that's the way people like it. But to be Cup ready for the Clash, there have to be a few upgrades.
We do an announcement, and it goes over beautifully, and we're really excited to move forward with it. How do we pull this all off?
This is likely the biggest expense, is what are we doing here? The piece of character that I'm most concerned about is this front stretch wall. So you can see where at the curved end of the open end of the stadium, it cuts in on the racetrack, right? And how can we protect the character of that?
Those are all custom built panels too, so you'd have to bend it backwards.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't want to do anything that's going to long-term mess up Saturday night.
Similar to turn 4, you have the same problem here in turn 3.
This is a nice little cutout.
Yeah. Jerry feels like this will only encroach on the actual racetrack with safer by a couple of inches. And I was just like, well, just know that a couple of inches means a lot.
We started with our design and development team, which was fantastic. They came and got a good lay of the land and figured out what we needed to do to make this place better.
We decided no wall on the interior, right?
Yeah, so that was a big piece of it. If the track gets blocked here, and you'll see it on a Saturday night here, drivers will run through the grass and save their whole race cars. If there's a wall there, then we're just gonna add a pile up, right?
The Cup Series being here at Bowman Gray will allow us to have some of the nicer features that a Cup Series venue normally has, and kind of leave a good lasting impact on the community for years to come.
The other funny part about this piece here is, like, people sit here. So, I mean, I can reach out and and see fans. I don't know of a single other racing venue that we have fans this close to.
No, not at all. Super close.
This place is so special. This place is so magical. And anything that we do to run a Cup Series event here should only elevate anything else that we try to do here, which is the priority.
The Madhouse.
17,000 people packing this racetrack tonight. Since 1949, this place has been providing fans here a brand of excitement that you see nowhere else in American motorsports.
There's a balancing act between modernization and preservation. One thing that won't change is the racetrack itself and the skill it takes to get around the 87-year-old quarter mile.
Our drivers and stars, it gives them a chance to race on the same track that all of the stars that helped build NASCAR. They get to experience the same thing because it ain't changed.
What kind of driver you need to be successful here?
Rich. So you have to be disciplined, right? As far as inside the race car. If I've got a good car, you've got to make the best of it by being patiently aggressive, right? Don't put yourself in a bad spot. You just got to take what the track will give you.
Got it again.
I think one of the things that makes this place unique as a driver is you just never know what to expect.
We got one over here, the 10 over the stand.
There's no thinking. You race over here off instincts. And you hope that the guy beside of you's got enough instinct that he don't wreck you.
There goes the front stretch.
It's like having children. You got to pick your battles.
The action and excitement in every lap has built a lifelong love affair with short track racing for fans of all ages. It's what makes Bowman Gray, Bowman Gray.
Retaliation. So good.
Hey, thank you so much for bringing it.
Oh yeah, no worries,
no
man.
idea how much we appreciate it.
Yeah, you pumped for it? You coming?
Oh my God, I'm more than my very much, my friend.
Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah, hell yeah.
Reason number 7,358, and we call it the Madhouse.
A lot of middle fingers on that one.
You definitely clash.
We're probably gonna have it. That's the scary part. That's why they call it the Madhouse.
As the leaves change colors and Bowman Gray switches from a summer of racing to an autumn of football, renovations kick off to prepare for the clash. If these old guardrails could talk, the stories would be legendary. One of the most fascinating is the story of the last time the Cup Series raced at Bowman Gray on August 6, 1971. For more than 50 years, that race appeared in the record books without a credited winner.
Midway through the 1971 season, NASCAR determined that there would be 6 combination races of the Grand National Division, or what we would call the Cup Series today, and Grand American, like our Xfinity cars of today. The Grand American cars were like Mustangs, Camaros, Mercury Cougars. The first of those combination races was scheduled for Bowman Gray Stadium. Bobby Allison chose the Grand American car because it was lighter. As the race went on, Bobby had a clear advantage. He led 118 laps. At the end of the race, Bobby got the checkered flag, the trophy, all of the things that a winner normally gets, except he did not get credit for that win. It's been a controversy ever since.
He said, would you believe I won the race, but they wouldn't give me the win? I said, no, I don't see how that could happen. But it did. There was a vendetta there between Bill French Jr. and Bobby Allison. You know, he was very upset that Bobby chose the Mustang over the Grand National car. I know that for a fact.
It was a thorn in the side for Bobby for more than 50 years about why he wasn't credited with that win.
You know, I think about it, and I did win 85 times, my Scout's honor, 85 times.
When NASCAR announced that they were bringing the Clash to Bowman Gray Stadium, I felt like that win needed to be validated. Joey Dinowitz asked me to put together a document that might plead Bobby's case. And Joey presented that document to Jim France, and Jim immediately said, yes, okay, let's do that. And we knew at that time Bobby's health was failing. It was so critical that he knows that he was finally credited for that win.
On October 23, 2024, NASCAR's Jim France and Mike Helton presented Bobby Allison with an official proclamation. Allison would finally be recognized as the winner of the 1971 Myers Brothers 250. Allison passed away just over 2 weeks later. The win at Bowman Gray brought his career total to 85, fourth on the all-time NASCAR wins list.
When I got that phone call saying that that's what they were doing, I relaxed completely. I said, finally.
When I got the news, I said, he's got it. He's got that win. I just am so happy.
He was ecstatic. I couldn't believe, for as bad as he felt, for him to tell me, he said, Donnie, do you believe they finally gave me the race? I think after that happened, and he said, I'm ready to go.
And it's so appropriate that we're going back to Bowman Gray. Now we can say, yes, Bobby won the race.
I really think that was a culmination to his life.
A bit of business long left unfinished. The closure for Bobby Allison is an example of how NASCAR's return to Bowman Gray is a full circle moment for a sport, a racetrack, a way of life.
It's a family business. You know, how important is a farm to a family that grew up on the farm? That's who you are, that's what you are. We're proud that NASCAR picked it up because we wanted it to go to the next level, and we couldn't take it to the next level. NASCAR will take it and embrace it, take that Madhouse magic and mix it together for the Cup.
I think this is thank you, race fans, for sticking with us. We've had to go some other places, but we're coming home.
I've been all around the world and I done seen a lot of dirt, but home sweet home, all I know. Had to turn around and burn them in this car, I had to earn them. There's nothing like the dirt that I know. I lay down.
You know, you just picture like all those guys that's raced here. It's like a nice timepiece. It's just working, right? And it's just flawless.
This thing's always stayed special, you know. It's just went on for just years and years and still put on a great show. Great memories.
I can sit here and tell you story after story after story. Until you sit right here, you'll never understand it.
Standing in victory lane at Bowman Gray is where it's at, and some people are willing to do just about anything it takes to get there.
54 years is a long time to be away from your roots. Bowman Gray Stadium is back in style.